YouTube, this is Raveshan, and he just did a good thing at South African State Championships. So let's hear what he has to say. Hey Rav, what did you do this weekend, and what deck did you play for it?
Hi, man. So this weekend we had state championships in South Africa. The turnout was about 106 or 106 players. And I mean the ban list dropped last Thursday. I was on Prime Kids. I was on base. Both my decks got hit. So I was like, what do I play?
Yeah.
So I just went back to the all good Swordsoul. But I decided to do something different actually. So I went for a go second Swordsoul build.
Mm.
So yeah, I went back to Harney's and Pax build. I'm not sure if you guys remember from when Salsa was actually first introduced. Made some changes because I didn't want to play Mystic Mine. So yeah,
Okay, show us what you got.
okay, sure. Um, so I'm just gonna start with the Soul card. I mean, standard stuff. Three Moe, three Long, two Tai, three Ecclesia, and one Blackout.
Yeah. Did you think about cutting Ecclesia at any point? Because we just watched the some other deck profiles before, and people start to cut one Ecclesia now. Is that an option for you?
Well, I guess this is a blind go second build, so
Mm-hmm.
I think the Ecclesia is probably like one of your most powerful cards because it's a free spec if you think
True,
about
true,
it.
true, true. Yeah,
There's no way I was gonna cut that.
sure.
Um, in terms of the Tinnies, I mean two Adara, three Vishura, three Ashuna, and one blue. I think two Adara is the way to go now because you're not really going to Halki that much. I know some people are on the Halki build, but even the Halki Jet Synchron Apple is not really. I mean, you go neg one just to lose the imperm. You know,
Yeah.
it's a weird one.
I really dislike the Appaloosa lines as well. I mean, you at least end on something cool, but what you end on is just so weak that it just still loses to everything, pretty much.
Yeah, agree with you there.
Yeah.
And then I played two Dragon Circle and one Shatana. And the main reason was I mean, just to play around Token Collector, I guess. I mean, you could tribute get the blue and also play around Imperm Vela.
Yeah, yeah.
And also Snow as well. Because going second, I mean, you can sort of beat the board and then you lose to one Snow, and that's not ideal. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I understand. I understand.
Yeah. And then I guess for like sort of the go second. So my option here was either between um Ash or Mystic Mine. So I decided to go with Ash instead because I just didn't want to play Mystic Mine. So yeah, because I guess probably the ideal cardio would be three mine. So I just went with three Ash because I expected a lot of Lich. And I mean, if you Ash Scarlet, it is quite difficult for them to get into the engine. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Also, you can just very easily OTK them when you actually lich most of the
Yeah,
time, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So that was mainly because, I mean, the reason is I am on like sort of some blood cards. So it's like you have that dilemma where do you want to droplet them or keep the ash in hand? So
Mm.
that was, I was like, you know what, let me just go with the ash. It's also a three if I want to can't play around token collector worst case or something. I mean, normal ash, you have the Moe on field or something, going to Yazi, something like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I went with that and then three emergence. Yeah.
Rest of the
Uh,
Swordsoul package, easy.
Yeah. So I actually went with three
Ooh.
prosperity, and I know this conflicts a lot with the Mohi and even Longyon, the level 10.
Yeah, yeah.
But you don't really go into a Longyon too much because you're going second. So you may most of the time you want to end on a Baron and like Omni negate. I mean, they're going it's turn three, they have no board, so
Yeah, yeah.
Baron in that state is cracked. So I also went with prosperity because as going second, I want to dig for my blood cards. So I want to banish six, see my blood, and crack the board. So that was my reason for going for prosperity.
Yeah. Understandable.
Uh,
Understandable.
so in terms of the blood, I went with three evenly, three droplets, three dark ruler, and three storm.
Whoa, that really is a lot of blowout cards there.
Uh, yeah. So I mean the math is 88% to see one,
Oof.
58% I think to see two.
Yeah.
But I mean if you see any two, which board is really gonna survive this, you know?
Yeah,
I
none,
mean,
none.
so that's what I say. I mean like even like at most also in the mirror match, Storm literally just wipes out the entire board,
Hmm.
because no one really ends on blackout.
Yeah.
Sorry, on Baron. So I mean, you just like Storm, you make your own board, and honestly, like sometimes a blackout Chi-Chow is enough to win you the game, because game three, how is a person playing through that?
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, I think that was the main deck, 44 cards in the main deck, and yeah, it was quite well. I mean, only bricked in the round in top cut, saw
Ah,
all my blood, but didn't see the starter. But I mean, yeah, we'll chat on that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, that was the blood, I guess, cards, and that was the main deck.
yeah. Let's go extra deck next.
One field center,
Sure.
can't leave that out.
Pretty one, pretty one.
Sure. So I went with the two monk and one shaman. I don't think three monk was really didn't really come out the third one actually. So yeah, that's sort of standard, I guess. That's a flex spot of the deck, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
Two grandmaster, one Long Yuan, one Baron, one Cheng Ying, one Chao Feng, one Yazi, two Baxia, one Berserker, one Crimson, and one Dragite. I guess, I mean, I was three LH matchups, so I mean, the Dragite did come up there, so it was quite decent. Crimson Blade, it did come up one match because I think it was a Dino Lich player, and I mean, in that stage, my hand wasn't that strong, but I'm like, I can Crimson Blade her, and then he can't play next turn, and I mean, this deck OTK is like it's nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, one card sometimes is enough, and I mean, like, yeah, I mean, changing Grandmaster, that 6800 if they go Desires or something, so it's quite easy to OTK, so yeah.
Yeah, blind going first. Oh no, you're never going blind first. That's actually funny
Yeah,
because I wanted to ask you what's your go-to board at the moment when you go first, but you never go first, so that question is like not really
exactly.
applicable.
Yeah, and if someone had to make me go first, I mean, it's literally going to be the same board that if I had to change the deck instead of Blood, go hand traps. Maybe I'm missing two vessel or
Yeah.
three vessel, but
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
the only engine that I'm cutting down on, you
Yeah.
know?
And you probably
So
just
yeah.
go for. Do you then go for Longyan or do you go for Baron still? Because you said you do Baron a lot more than the Longyan actually going second.
Yeah, then I would probably go for the Baron, to be honest,
Hmm.
because I mean I don't really need. It depends on the matchup. I mean, obviously if they're playing like a Brave package, then I'm gonna go Long Yon.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess in that sense it's a bit awkward. But I mean, my thinking was going first the end board of Swordsoul is not great. Obviously, you need hand traps to back it up. The hand traps in your hand, that's what makes a Swordsoul board going first. Because I mean, one blackout, a Long Yon, and Chi-Chow is not the best. I mean, it's crackable.
Yeah.
It's not like you guarantee to win compared to base before the ban list. It's like you go first, your side is resolving you winning.
Hmm.
So yeah. So that's sort of like, okay, let's do something different, something no one's gonna really expect. And yeah.
Yeah. It's always an
So
advantage when your opponent don't know what you're doing from the
100%
beginning.
because I mean, like who doesn't really know how to play against Sword now? I mean, literally everyone knows.
True, true,
Yeah.
true.
Because the thing is that even if I won the die roll, I'm like, okay, you can go first, game one, and then like they go first, I probably win game one, game two if they win somehow. So now in game three, they sort of like, is he gonna make me go first, or
Yeah,
is he
yeah.
gonna
The
make me
mind
go
games are
first
always
second?
a bit cringe. You never know against
Yeah,
these decks. Yeah, yeah,
exactly. So when it comes to the side deck, so I went with three anti-spell. So I think this tells you what I went for in game three.
yeah. Yeah.
3D barrier. I mean, yeah. One red reboot. I mean, I have to play this if you're playing Swordsoul at Despia. And for three draw, because of Flanders and Drytron, I expected those matchups. I'm like, I need something more for them. So yeah. And then I went for three Sanctum, Sight, and a Lancia.
Woo.
Yeah.
That really is a
So
bunch of going first stuff there.
yeah, so that's what I was saying. If I'm looking at it, if depends on my matchup, I'm generally going to be siding in nine purple cards. And because that's another reason why I played Prosperity is that if I see any
Hmm.
of these nine cards, it's most likely that I'm going to win. So
Sure,
I'm
sure.
digging for six if I see Prosperity in my hand, if I don't have a flood.
Yep, yep, yep.
So that was my thinking, and it did come up. I mean, sometimes if you go see the anti-spell, instead of anti-spell, your opponent can't do anything, and then it's an easy OTK. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Was it necessary to play the Lancea? Like, did it come up in the tournament at all?
was a very flex sport. It was just like I didn't know really what else to play, and I'm like, well, I'm still scared of Flanders, so I'm just gonna go with the Lancia. Because if I don't go this way, then I mean, it's sort of like I guess I'm still siding a lot going in, but I just decided on the Lancia. And I actually hard through the one-off lance against Flanders, and I was like, okay, this is not bad.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, so give us a little rundown on your tournament run.
Yeah. So I mean, I just sent you the breakdown of like as you seen, it was mostly Despia, Swordsoul. That was the meta in South Africa, which is kind of what I expected
Yeah.
because I think yeah, and I think that was it's quite a tough deck. I mean, I was thinking of playing Sun Avalon, but I don't have all of those cards, and the Theorons are quite expensive, and also it was just like if your normal summon get banished, you kind of just lose.
Yeah,
If
true,
Merge
true.
just banished, so I was like, okay, let's just go for Source or something different. So I went up against Virtual World, round one, just evenly matched the board, and they couldn't recover after that.
Easy, easy.
Uh, yeah, and then game two, I mean, they went first again, so it was just a matter of like just going in with my same go second, and then just same destroy the board.
Yeah.
And then match two was against Salad, which is quite a scary deck because I mean they run like 20 hand traps, you know.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, luckily enough, I mean the guy didn't open too well, but I mean you could with a salad you can sort of like read the player's hand. I mean if they don't go to end board, that means they have all the traps with them, the rage, the roar, etc.
Mhm.
So I had the Vishuda and I think it was Storm. Sorry, not Storm, it was evenly and the Vishuda. So I managed to bait out the roar is a counter trap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the counter trap, and then I evenly them. So eventually after that, I just set up enough to. I mean, that's the thing about Solid. It's a solid deck, but I mean, like a blackout against them is still quite strong. I mean, obviously you sort of need to bait the bailings and stuff, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I like Cell at
yeah,
the moment. It's very, very consistent, of course, in what it does with
mm,
free circle and so on, but still, like, it cannot really play through boards that well. Going second, you are really relying on your hand traps. You need to resolve the hand traps to actually not make your opponent have a board, because playing through a board is somewhat impossible with the deck, it feels like.
no, oh, that's 100%. Like Nesh was actually you wanted me to. I was testing Salad because of him, but I'm like I couldn't do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
My next matchup was like Branded Edlich, Dino Edlich. So I mean, as the same thing, I guess the Storm in the main really came up strong. I mean, like it was like they go first, set four, set five pass, and I just go Storm, and then they just like sort of scoop after that because yeah. So that was quite nice. A lot of Edlich, and yeah, I was really surprised to see that much branded Edlich in the format because
Hmm.
I thought it would be more branded Despia, but I guess they just splashed the branded into everywhere.
Yeah. And like, it loses a little less to all the blowout cards such as Anti Spell and
Yeah,
Deep Area and so on. So I kind of like the pick of Branded Eldritch at the moment. Don't know.
uh, uh, yeah, 100%. I think one of my other matches, which was quite interesting, was like it was a branded Edlich Dogmatica Alistair Pile. And I was
Hmm.
looking at this and I was very weird because I was like, what do I actually side here, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was quite interesting, but I think I don't know. I didn't feel like I felt the deck didn't do enough for me. So it wasn't even like a Winder Turbo. It was more like a Murder Jade, Macabre, Punishment sort of thing, which is playable. So yeah,
Yeah, but how many rounds of Swiss was it again?
it was seven rounds of Swiss.
Yeah, and how did you end up after Swiss? What was the score?
So I was X1-1,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I threw a game for the draw because I played so badly. But yeah, and then my loss was 2 goals in match. Let's put it in that way. I mean, it is what it is, you know.
Of course, of course. What deck was
Yeah.
it? Was it just Branded Eldritch in that case, or?
Yeah, that was branded as
Yeah.
Leech, but it was more sort of a floodgate
Hmm.
thing. And it was like I saw the guy's deck profile, it was like three rivalry, three skills rain, three peekaboo, three it goes in, and I'm like, that guy came prepared for the meta. I mean,
Fun, fun,
uh,
fun.
yeah, I'll give it to him for the deck ball, but I mean, that's just for one of those things, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, and then top 8 you face Flunder, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, so game one, he went first. I mean, at this point, I obviously didn't like disclose my deck to anyone to know that I'm going second because I mean that's giving information. So I was like, oh, I lost all the die roll today, blah blah blah, to make it seem like I'm gonna go second. I mean, I drew like duplicates of blood, so like I didn't have a starter. So I mean, eventually I managed to like evenly and stuff, but then he was into engine, so then he was just like riser loop, and then I couldn't really play after that, you know. And then game two, I went first, anti-spell and stuff, so I had enough to win them.
Yeah.
And then game three, he went first, but then he opened deep barrier, so there's not much I could do. I mean, I mean, I blew his board away, but then I couldn't do anything there. Then when he went turn three, he was riser, shuffled back his deep barrier and stuff like that. And then, I mean,
Ooh.
yeah.
Did
So I
you
was deep barrier against in turn two, and then turn three was trap strict, and I was like, this is enough.
was it Jack he lost to?
No, I lost to Bruce.
Ah, okay, okay. Because I
Yeah.
saw the deck profile of Jack, also from the South African national, and that was a very creative take on Flunder, I have to say. Very interesting ratios.
Yeah, no, some of the ratio I don't agree with, but I mean, everyone has their
Same,
own
same,
take.
same. Yeah.
I mean, like some people will be like, I should have used a different ratio. I mean, like probably I should have went with trap tricks instead, but I mean,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, Traptrix would actually do a very good job in this deck. Yeah, it's true.
yeah, no, definitely. I was thinking about this Nash. Like trap tricks would have been so much better, and then I have two free slots.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
I
would be
mean,
my change
it worked
if I
out.
could have.
You wanted your top, you got your top, right? So you were already contacting me like 1 or 2 weeks before your event, and you were following my coverage of the regional and the national season, and you were like, "Keep it up! I'm really preparing for this event. I want to get that top so badly," and you got that top. So congratulations again, Rev. Did a
Yeah,
great job.
definitely.
Good call
Yeah,
for going second, Swordsoul deck.
yeah, but I mean, it's sort of like a once-off. Like you can't really play this again because people expect it now, you know? So it's like a once-off tournament meta call sort of thing.
Yeah, true, true. Do you have any shoutouts you want to give at the end?
So I'll give a shout out to my team Flex Gaming. They tested me all the time. We came up with a deck. I mean, shout out to Hani as well. He inspired the deck, and Nesh Pack. They also help with the testing, deck building, stuff like that.
Cool, that's great. So thank you so much for joining us here on stream. This profile will be going up on YouTube. And yeah, have a good day, my friend.
Cool. You too, man. Thanks.